What's poppin', players? Welcome back to a TwoPennyGames review. This time, Star Wars Outlaws. I am your host and lead reviewer, Tavin Bothel, here with my good friend and co-host. Say hello to the people, Connor Elliott.
I'm looking up what time a restaurant closes. How are you doing?
We're going to be running late on these things for a while. Yeah, and that's unfortunate. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, of course, you can watch us record all of our reviews and podcasts live over at twitch.tv/TwoPennyGames every Monday evening, afternoon/evening time, somewhere around there. So make sure you like and hit all the notification bells that you can to make sure that you get all the new content. Ladies and gentlemen, Star Wars Outlaws, newest game from Ubisoft, massive former developers of The Division, made us a brand new game. So make sure you like, subscribe. Let me know down in the comments how you feel about Star Wars Outlaws in the comments down below. Make sure you subscribe and like for more. I'm going to keep saying it and saying it and saying it until you do it. Please do it. Please. Please. Anyways.
Don't make the man beg.
Connor, I've been playing Star Wars Outlaws.
I've seen you play.
Yeah. Have you been playing Star Wars Outlaws?
I have thankfully not been.
God, I'm so fucking jealous of you because, ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you what. Star Wars Outlaws is a poor excuse of a video game. There is, in my opinion, no excuse for a game of this size, from a development team this big and this talented, from a publisher with this much money, and from a brand name of this magnitude to deliver a video game of this quality. This game is it the worst video game I've ever played? No. But it's got too much writing on it for it to deliver this type of execution. The general gameplay loop is disappointingly simple and repetitive and just not engaging or fun to play around with at all. The stealth is offensively simple and often doesn't work. On top of that, there is little to no polish in this game. I've had massive glitches throughout my entire experience with the game. Never, ever have I felt engaged by this game. I think its story is driveling, just slop. And I've just got very little positive to say about Star Wars Outlaws. Nothing makes me go, oh God, this is a broken, terrible video game. But there is absolutely nothing in this game that I think is good. Outside of one, the music. Music's actually pretty great. I like the music a lot.
Star Wars music?
Well, yes, but it does Star Wars music better than other Star Wars properties have done. This is better than Solo, what Solo did with music. This game has pretty good music to it. I'll give it that. I also like Nyx, the little companion creature that you can use to distract enemies or go and pick up weapons for you or steal from enemies and stuff like that. I like Nyx a lot. Nyx is cute and adorable. That's it. That's all I got. The music is genuinely really good, and Nyx is cute and cool. I wouldn't say in execution Nyx is all that mechanically interesting.
Kind of important.
Yeah, it is kind of important. That should be your best thing, and I guess it is your best thing, but it's not like fun. It's not fun to use Nyx. It's cool. It's a cool little gimmick. But it just doesn't come across as anything engaging. This game is just so unengaging. This game is so disengaging. At every opportunity, it just makes me wish I was playing something else. Massive is known for The Division, right? And when this game was announced, I couldn't help but feel that, oh, they're doing a Division game, but with a Star Wars skin on it. And instead, I got a generic Uncharted game with some Assassin's Creed influence on it. And I swear to God, this would have been so much better if it was just The Division but Star Wars. I cannot tell if this is the wrong studio for this game or the wrong game for this studio. You know how usually you can kind of tell, like Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League. That's the wrong game for Rocksteady to make, right? I have no idea. This game, I have no idea which one is wrong here. They're probably both wrong.
They sound like it because Ubisoft has had the formula of their open world games being generic and not having anything interesting. And also just Star Wars isn't enough just to immediately grab people in. You have to have something interesting about it.
Yeah. Star Wars as a brand has just been on a unfortunate decline in the last couple of years. There's been some good things, definitely. I don't think Star Wars has I still get excited for Star Wars properties. You know, I'm still interested in something Star Wars. But this is an example of Star Wars going in the wrong direction. This is equivalent to your Book of Boba Fett's or your Rise of Skywalkers to me, where like, is this the worst thing in the world? No, but we've seen this brand do way better. And it's unacceptable for this brand from these companies with this amount of money to produce this product. We were just talking kind of like Hogwarts Legacy and how Hogwarts Legacy was not the best game ever, but like had a promising start. I only feel that way because Portkey Games is a very small studio, and this was one of their first really big moves in AAA space. So they get a little bit of slack here. This is, to my knowledge, Massive's third AAA game, at least that I'm aware of, right? Division 1 was better than this. Division 2 was better than this. Every expansion and DLC drop or season of Division has been more fun and engaging than this. And I don't understand where it went wrong. Division has gunplay that is fun to engage with. This one doesn't. It does not feel good to shoot your blaster in this video game. Now, granted, there are times where like it's kind of hard to make a laser gun feel good, but Star Wars Battlefront 2 feels good to shoot.
From remembering the presentations when
that
they
game
were showing,
is 5 years old.
if you recall, during Ubisoft presentation of this game,
Yeah.
they kind of highlighted how your character's not supposed to be like a primarily fighting character in the traditional sense. So
Doesn't feel like it. It
Yeah.
feels like this character should be brawling everybody out, Connor, because I swear to God, it's more efficient to use this really shitty 3-punch combo to knock damn near every enemy out as opposed to shooting them 4 or 5 times in the face. Like, why is it easier for me to run up and punch a stormtrooper than it is for me to shoot a stormtrooper? That doesn't make sense, right? And on top of that, Jesus Christ, repetition over repetition over repetition when we talk about gameplay scenario. It is always enter an area, you got to stealth your way as much as possible, things will go haywire, shoot everybody else in the room. Like, that is just how it goes. And the pre-canned animations of stealth takedowns are boring, not impactful, and are so fucking annoying to do because it's that thing where, like, you as the player are never in the right spot for the animation to play. So every time you press the stealth takedown button, you see characters slide into position to play out the animation. And the animations aren't unique or interesting. They're very bland. There's 1 or 2 where Nyx helps you, the little creature, helps you take it down. Those are all right, I guess. But for the most part, it's just it's a generic tap you on the shoulder, smack you in the face, help you fall down. Uncharted did this 10 years ago. 10 years ago, Uncharted did this better. What are you doing in 2024 providing a gameplay a gameplay experience like this? It's unacceptable. It's unacceptable. The speeder bike is annoying to use. Level design is generic and unimaginative. This is a game that feels like it got focus grouped to death. And they did not allow the development team to have any creativity or any freedom in any of their choices outside of Nyx. They have this factions system in which you are engaging with the universe's underworld, the different crime syndicates of the underworld. This is the Pikes, the Crimson Dawn, and the Hutts, right? Those are the big 3. There's other factions that you will engage with on other planets as well, but those are the big 3. This is and at any point during the game, or at every point during the game, you will be given a choice to help one faction and screw over the other one. There's no gray area where, like, oh, well, this faction, it doesn't play to their interest, but, like, it doesn't hurt your... No. Help this guy, hurt this guy. That is the only choice. There's no gray area here where it's like even in the writing scenarios, sometimes it's like, well, yeah, this doesn't help the Crimson Dawn, but they shouldn't know that this is happening. I'm just not telling them information. Like, they shouldn't think of me lesser because I'm not telling them something, right? But if you don't tell them that, your reputation goes down. This is the most underbaked reputation, good, bad, crime system that I've ever seen in any video game ever. And it's so frustratingly disappointing because, again, things like Mass Effect did this over a decade ago. Things like Red Dead Redemption did this over a decade ago. This is unacceptable. You need to have more depth in all forms of gameplay, whether it's the stealth, whether it's the shooting, whether it's the fisticuffs, whether it's the crime syndicate, the dialogue options. All of these things are so generic and simple and nothing. There is no soul in this game. They have this Deadeye mechanic in the game. It's ripped straight out of Red Dead Redemption. But what's the most fun about the Deadeye mechanic in Red Dead Redemption, Connor?
Choosing where you shoot.
Choosing where you shoot. And guess what you can't do in Star Wars Outlaws? Choose where you fucking shoot. You just choose your 3 targets, bang, 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 that's it. Nothing, it doesn't feel good to use. And on top of that, I don't know why, but when you're on the speeder, you can get chased by bad guys and they can shoot you, but you can't shoot back until they the Deadeye system works on a buildup of enemies shooting at you. So you have to be like taking enough heat to activate the Deadeye. So if I'm riding around in the open world and enter an enemy territory and they don't like me, they're going to start chasing after me and shooting at me, and I can't do anything to defend myself on the speeder until this thing builds up. Why? Why can't I just turn around and shoot? Grand Theft Auto has been shooting on motorcycles for 2 decades. What are we doing?
You know what? That kind of leads into, choosing where you shoot. Because it doesn't seem like there's much dynamic action going on here.
There's not.
And a large part of that is, I feel, the enemy type. Like, what do you fight? Is it just like different varieties of guy with gun?
Yeah.
Sometimes they have a shield?
No, 100%. That is exactly what you're fighting. You're fighting different versions of guy with gun.
Yeah.
And it is grunts pretty much the entire time. This game, wow. Yeah, enemy variety is severely lacking. Some enemies have shields. You quickly switch to an electronic version of your gun, blast them once, and then switch back to your kill version of the gun and finish them off. And Connor, I can't tell if getting headshots matters. Because 1 headshot doesn't kill. 2 headshots doesn't kill. Sometimes 3 headshots don't kill. So at that point, when I'm shooting an enemy 3 times, and it only takes 4 or 5 to kill them by shooting them in the chest, well, then how much time am I really saving? How much am I really finessing and getting good at your gunplay if shooting in the head doesn't give me an insta-kill or 2 shots don't give me an insta-kill? Something like that. It is not a dramatic difference from shooting them in the head to shooting them in the body, so why even shoot them in the head?
I mean, going back to, kind of Red Dead.
Yeah.
The characters, you choose where you shoot. They react differently. With a game like this where there's, similar to Red Dead, there's not much enemy variety, but the gunplay kind of accounts for that.
Yeah.
And allows it to be fun and action-paced. And when you kind of remove any kind of depth in that regard, and you're just giving them random enemies to shoot, it doesn't really want you to play that game.
This game likes to pretend that it has player expression. It likes to pretend that when you enter a stealth scenario, there's a bunch of different routes that you can go down to for optimal stealth strategy, depending on choices you make as a player. It pretends like that's the case. In reality, there's one way to go. And when there's missions where you instantly fail if you get caught, that's a problem. Stop pretending. Just show me where it is at that point, right? It likes to pretend like there's a lot of expression in its combat, and you can use different blaster variations, whether it's, this heavy blaster that does a lot of buildup in your heat, or this regular blaster, or I can turn the blaster into an automatic blaster, or things like that. In reality, they all function exactly the same. It takes the exact same amount of time to kill every enemy, and it's just annoying. It's just annoying. You may as well just stick to default blaster the entire time. There's no point in switching off outside of when the game forces you to, like I said, where you need to use the electric version of the thing to disable a shield or to do damage to a droid, or you have to use the heavy blaster to blow up some rocks or something like that. It's just ridiculous. And on top of that, I can't believe we're still doing this in 2024. This is one of those games where you can pick up enemy weapons, sure, but you can't do anything else if you have that weapon. You can only shoot it. Activate a door, drop the weapon. Stealth kill an enemy, drop the weapon. Climb up a ladder, drop the weapon. Drop off of a little cliff, a little edge. Doesn't matter if it's 2 feet or 10 feet. Drop the weapon.
I understand what you're saying, but you have to give a little bit of leeway with that kind of system.
Yeah? Uncharted did this 15 years ago.
Yeah. Well, I was going to have I was going to insult them, but I can't even remember the insults.
All right. Well, great performance today.
Very horrible. Very horrible.
Yeah, guys, I cannot comprehend in any world why you would pick up Star Wars Outlaws, especially right now when the gaming landscape is so competitive with its releases right now. There are a dozen other games that would be better spent with your time. If you really want a third-person shooter, hey, it sounds like Space Marine 2 is a lot of fun. Maybe play some Space Marine 2. I don't know. Connor's only played a little bit. We're going to have a review in a few weeks.
It's substantial now.
Played it substantial. Yeah, you did that instead of setting up for the podcast today. Appreciate that, buddy.
Yeah. Hey, I do it for the content, man.
Do it for the content, man. Do it for the content. I love it. Ladies and gentlemen, yeah, I do not recommend Star Wars Outlaws. Stay away from Star Wars Outlaws. I don't think it's worth the asking price. And yeah, I expected way better from this dev studio, from this publisher, and from this brand name. It's unacceptable to have this level of quality.
Asking price being
$70.
Space Marine 2 is $60.
Yeah, and you can get more content out of this because this game's only like 17 hours long.
It also looks way better.
Oh, it's ugly.
Yeah.
Oh, it's an ugly game.
You didn't really say that
You know that meme from Mass Effect Andromeda where the one character was like, "Oh, my face is tired," and there was like no animation? That's the entire game.
Yeah.
The entire game. Frame rate drops, screen tearing, weak animations, facial, body, everywhere. The voice acting is not particularly good. I do like what the main character is doing, but I don't think the creative team has a strong idea of the identity of this character. It often feels like they want her to be Han Solo, but she's not. Mm-hmm. She's like a fish out of water. And so, like, the clash of those two things is very, very strange, and it just leads me to, like, not really caring about the character that much. But I like the character design, and I like what the actor is doing. It's just what the character is doing isn't interesting or not cool. This character isn't cool, and you want her to be cool.
A microcosm of that is the image I see going around the internet of her punching a stormtrooper or something like that, and her face is just like...
She is blank face the entire game. I have no idea what she's feeling. If the actor wasn't so good, I wouldn't know what she was feeling.
Yeah.
What a wet fart. It's a wet fart of a video game. This is the lowest ranked game I've ever done on this show. I think Callisto Protocol had more to say than this game. And that's saying something because I didn't like that game really at all. But yeah, I would have given that one a 5. This one is a 4.
Nice.
Ladies and gentlemen, wow, I wanted to go longer, but I just don't feel like there's anything else to fucking say about this game. It
seems so cookie cutter in terms of the thing people stereotype Ubisoft as.
You played this game 15 years ago. Yeah. You played it 15 years ago. And 15 years ago, it was not a 10 out of 10, and it's definitely not now. This is a Army of Two level of video game, right? And Army of Two is acceptable in 2009, in 2011. It's not acceptable in 2024, you know? And so, yeah, to get this iteration of this, man, it's just so basic and boring. It feels like a beta version. It feels like an alpha version of what the game should be. We read a story on the Gamescast about how the director of this game is disappointed by its review scores. What were you expecting? Honestly, some of these reviews were way too generous. I saw this game getting 8s and 9s. What are we talking about? That is, we are playing 2 different video games if that's the case. This game is not good. It is not a baseline good. And in every review, I'm reading the same things. Repetitive stealth, uninspiring gunplay, a basic and forgettable story. But it's still getting 8s? I don't understand. This game is not fun. It's not engaging. You don't feel good in general gameplay feel and movement. When I slide into cover, it doesn't feel good. When I jump over canyons, it doesn't feel good. Nothing feels good about this game. It's ridiculous.
Which is funny because almost everything you do in Space Marine 2 feels good.
Oh, good for you, you fucking nerd.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is going to be it for your Star Wars Outlaws review. Let me know down in the comments. Am I off base on this? This game
I think you're in the you've trashed in the past the average gamer review of games, particularly when you go through Metacritic and we bring up the Metacritic's user score.
Yeah.
You're more in line with those crowds than I think the typical like reviewer based off the
This
scores
time
that's
around.
gotten
This time
on.
around. Yeah. No. Often I think a user score is irrelevant. I don't think the internet has a good grip on what objectivity is. So like when a user score is like any score, when a user score is far away from the critic score, I think they're off base because they often don't know what they're talking about. What are we doing here?
Yeah.
What are we doing here? Yeah, this game's a trash bin. Throw it in the trash. Don't play this game. Anyways, I hate to be negative because I love video games. I love playing video games, and I like Massive as a studio. I liked both the Division games. Both those games I'd probably give at least a 7. Division 2 is probably an 8. And for just a dramatic decline like this is ridiculous. I don't understand why they didn't just do Division but Star Wars. In the age of a live service game, why didn't you, Ubisoft, who's always money hungry and is clearly fishing for your next live service because Rainbow Six Siege was waning in popularity, Extraction failed, Watch Dogs failed, X-Defiant isn't garnering any type of interest, Assassin's Creed wanes from title to title in terms of quality. Far Cry is slowly treading water into oblivion. I do not understand why you did not take this team that does live service pretty well, not the best, but pretty well, and make a live service Star Wars game. That would have printed money.
The shortcomings they would have making a live service game, I think, would have been floated by being in Star Wars universe.
Exactly.
And just catching people's attention
Dude,
with that kind of game.
I would have loved, with the Vision. It was all about the scarves and the hats and the shoes and the little tiny little cosmetics or whatever. Would have loved being able to do that with Star Wars.
Rebels fighting against the Empire.
Let me get the little Han Solo vest. Let me get like some cool pants and like some flared up boots and cool hair or something. Like, let me really dive deep into some character creation and then make it a looter shooter. Yeah, I'll take 100 versions of the same goddamn laser pistol. But like, what are we? I'm so disappointed here. There's like, I just feel like the obvious choices were right there, and they didn't take them. Am I saying this would have been a 10 out of 10 video game if it was Division but Star Wars? No. It probably would have been another 7. But that's way better than what we got here.
But even that could have been better because they have that model that improved from 1 to 2, and it can improve even more. I think this is a case of the studio making a game that they just shouldn't have made. It was, we need someone to make this Star Wars game. Here's a successful company. Let them make it.
Are they just scared of turning Star Wars into a live service, or has this got something to do with how Disney wants everything Star Wars to be in canon now? That's why you don't get games with character creators in Star Wars, is because they want that character to exist. I guess, man, I like Kay Vess, I like a little bit, but like I'm gonna forget her name by the end of the month. I can tell you that right now, and that's unfortunate. Yeah, Star Wars Outlaws is a poor game, and I don't recommend it. Ladies and gentlemen, until next time, have a great time. Make sure you like, subscribe, and let me know if I'm right or wrong on this one. You guys sure did let me know I was wrong on Concord. But until next time, have a great time. And Connor, say goodbye to the people.
Goodbye.